There is a man in Kyoto, Japan, who has been failing for 40 years. Every single morning before the city wake, he walks into a small forge and begins the same process he began the day before. Heating steel, folding it, cooling it, studying it with bare hands that have been burned more times than he can count. His name is Kurihira Watanabe. He is 77 years old, and he is chasing something that most people would have abandoned decades ago. A sword-making technique so perfect, so precise, that it was lost 800 years ago and has never been recreated since. 800 years, 40 years of trying, and he has not yet succeeded. He will wake up tomorrow and try again. Now think about yourself for a moment. Think about the thing you said you would do, the skill you would learn, the project you would start, the version of yourself you promised you would become. How long ago did you make that promise? And where are you today? Most of us have a dream we are very loyal to, but a practice we keep abandoning. We are full of intention on Sunday night and empty of action by Tuesday morning. We know exactly what we should be doing, and we still do not do it. For a long time, we told ourselves the problem was motivation. That if we could just find enough of it, the right video, the right book, the right moment of clarity, we would finally begin and never stop. But you have watched the videos, you have read the books, you have had the moments of clarity, and the motivation still disappears, which means motivation was never the real problem. When journalists visit Watanabe in his forge and ask him how he stays motivated after 40 years of failure, he does something unexpected. He pauses, not because he is thinking of the answer, but because the question itself seems slightly confusing to him, as if someone asked him how he stays motivated to have the same name every morning. Then he says, "Motivation? I do not think about motivation. I am a swordsmith. This is what I do." In Japan, what Watanabe is, what he has spent 40 years becoming, has a name, shokunin. The word does not translate perfectly into English. The closest we get is craftsman, but that is not quite right. A craftsman makes things. A shokunin becomes something. The distance between those two ideas is vast, and almost nobody in the modern world has ever truly crossed it. A shokunin does not work on their craft. They dissolve into it. The work is not a task on their list. It is not an obligation they push themselves through. It is simply who they are, as natural as breathing, as automatic as a heartbeat. And because of this, they have solved the problem that defeats almost everyone else. They have made motivation irrelevant. Here's the truth about motivation that nobody wants to hear. Motivation is emotion. Motion. And emotion, by its nature, moves. It rises and falls like weather, beautiful when it arrives, completely outside your control when it disappears. Every time you rely on motivation to begin, you are handing the controls of your life to something that was never designed to be consistent. You are building your future on a foundation that shifts every time your mood changes, every time life gets difficult, every time the results take longer than you expected. This is why you know what to do and still do not do it. This is why you start strong and fade. This is not a character flaw. It is not laziness. It is simply the wrong system. Watanabe does not wake before dawn because he feels like making swords today. He wakes before dawn because he is a swordsmith. Those are not the same thing. One is a feeling, temporary, fragile, dependent on how much sleep you got and what mood the morning brought. The other is an identity. An identity does not ask your mood for permission. This is the shift that shokunin represents. When your actions are tied to how you feel, every day begins with a negotiation. You weigh the discomfort of starting against the comfort of waiting. Some days you win, most days the waiting wins. But when your actions are tied to who you are, there is no negotiation. The question of whether you feel like it today simply stops arising. A swordsmith makes swords. A writer writes. The person you have decided to become does the work that person does, not because conditions are perfect, but because the alternative is to become someone else entirely. The Japanese call this transformation shokunin kishitsu. The craftsman's spirit. It is the moment a skill stops being something you practice and starts being something you embody. And the only path to it is the one thing every shokunin in history has known, showing up completely, even before you feel ready. Okay? Now, you are probably thinking this is beautiful but impossible for your life. You are not a swordsmith in Kyoto with 40 years and one singular obsession. You have a job, deadlines, responsibilities, work you did not choose, and tasks you cannot disappear into. This is exactly where shokunin becomes most important to understand, because shokunin is not about the type of work. It is about the relationship with work. In Japan, there are shokunin who make ramen, who have spent 30 years perfecting a single broth, who arrive at CAM not because they are disciplined, but because the soup demands it. Buy from A7 Tremisher. And they are the ones who make the soup. There are shokunin who arrange flowers, who shine shoes, who repair paper screens in old temples, who have given their full attention to work the rest of the world considers small. The work does not matter. The quality of attention brought to it does. When you choose, genuinely choose, to bring full presence to what is in front of you, some shifts. The resistance softens, time moves differently. You stop performing the task and start inhabiting it. And slowly, without forcing it, the work becomes part of who you are. There is one final thing about Watanabe that most people miss entirely. He is not still in that forge after 40 years because he loves the struggle. He is not there because he is fearless, or extraordinary, or immune to doubt. Yeah? He is there because leaving would mean becoming someone he is not. And the goal, the lost 800-year-old technique, has become almost secondary. What he is really protecting every single morning before the sun rises is his identity. The thing no amount of failure can take from him as long as he keeps showing up. That is what shokunin gives you that motivation never can. Motivation gives you energy for a season. Identity gives you a reason for a lifetime. You do not need to feel ready. You do not need the perfect conditions, or the right mood, or a sign that today is finally the day. You need to decide once clearly with complete seriousness who you are becoming, what work you are willing to show up for even when it is hard, even when the progress is invisible, even when no one is watching and the results feel far away. And then you show up for it, not because you feel like it, because that is who you are. Somewhere in Kyoto, before the city wakes, an old man is walking into his forge. He has failed for 40 years, he is not motivated, he is not inspired, he is simply himself. And the fire is already lit.